Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, and here we are for race 13 of the Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship, brought to us by the Matua Racing Club, and this is the penultimate round of the championship. So we're at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, infield A, and we had a 20-minute qualifying session to determine this grid result, so we'll quickly go through that. It's a half-an-hour race, as always. So in first place, we have Moz in the Nissan GTR. In second, we have White Shark Jim in the Audi TT. Sorry, skipping it up, messed it up already. In third, we have ADG in the Audi TT as well. White Shark Phil in fourth in the VW Scirocco. CJW in fifth position in the Nissan GTR. Robert Sahud qualified in sixth in the GTR. Rick is in seventh in the Jaguar. We've got JRC in eighth in the GTR. We've got I'm going to say Nissan for some reason then. Ginger Crackhead in 9th in the GTR and Street Boy in 10th in the McLaren. So we will get this one underway, hit start, and yeah, watch how this one goes. So we've got two TTs in second and third, expecting those to get a bad start. We've got JRC creeping off the line early behind, so he's got a false start. You get a little bit of a penalty and it slows you down. CJW, sorry, just jumping through. Awesome launch off the line and gets straight up into second place, no dramas. Got a gap to Robert Sahud in third. That's how good that start was from CJW. Robert Sahud followed by White Shark Jim, and then we've got Phil getting side by side with Jim nearly, with me down the inside on him. Me held on the outside now, so I have to drop back in behind Phil. Good stuff. We'll go a little bit further back and watch. We'll watch from Ginger Crackhead so we can see what's going on in front and behind. I make a bit of a late lunge on Phil and then think better of it, so backed out of it as I realised I was probably going to hit him. It's a good start. Coming towards the end of the first lap. It's not the longest lap, is this? That's pretty much the last corner. This is actually the last corner, but it's not much of a corner really. Easy enough to go through flat out. So it's all steady away on the first lap really, not a lot going on. Everyone just gets away quite cleanly. CJW making the biggest change there, going from 5th into 2nd before the first corner. No, great work from CJW, like we've already said. CJW now though finds himself side by side with White Shark Jim. White Shark Jim's got the inside line for the next one. Decided to put all the tyre wear on and everything this week, so it doesn't really matter anymore because we're not racing together after this one. And if we end up racing together next season, we'll all be in different cars and the tyre wear will be different, so it doesn't matter. So CJW just dropping back into third, White Shark Jim promoting himself up into second. Again, nice steady away racing from everyone at the moment. A bit further back we've got Ginger Crackhead and Rick battling away side by side. Ginger Crackhead in 7th, Rick in 8th. Street Boys managed to get past JRC. JRC, I will repeat, had a really bad start. He jumped the start, which gives you a delay to deal with. It doesn't mean that you just get away early and you get a penalty. It actually gives you a penalty for jumping the start, so then you've got to wait and then get going. Just to explain to those guys that might not play the game. So yeah, it really hinders you if you jump the start. And just skipping through again, not a lot of action going on towards the opening of this race. We'll keep an eye on what does go on. Oh, wrong button. Little tap on the back of Robos. He complained about that. I'm going to mention it. Rose keeps moaning at me for all these tiny bits of contact that we have together. And keep telling me it doesn't make any difference, but he keeps moaning like an old woman. Just become, I think he likes moaning now, and I just like having a go at him now. Doesn't matter what it's about. White Shark Phil in 6th. It's all incredibly close, 4-car train here. All looking to take third position off CJW, each and every one of us. Bit of a gap now developing to Rick a bit further back, and Street Boy and Ginger Cracker as well. But good action here between these four. Oh, I see me go a little bit wide, just got on the grass, which allows Robus the Hood and White Shark Phil just to drive through, and then Robus goes ultra defensive on Phil, which slows him right down, which allows me to go around the outside of him and then down the inside into this double apex slow as hell left-hander. Just about managed to get the job done, get myself up into 5th, and White Shark Phil now down in 6th. But because of that battle, that's brought Rick straight back into it. We looked back from me a second ago, or one of the drivers a second ago, and Rick was quite a distance behind, and all of a sudden that bit of a battle that's just gone on there, and look at that, he's right on the bumper again really. Street Boy's with him, JRC not far behind, and Ginger Crackhead's got a little bit of work to do to get back into this one, but still all in contention at this point. So we've got Robus the Hood putting a little bit of pressure on the back of CJW now. We'll drop in with the leaders in a second, but at the moment they're just having a bit of a race of their own and pulling a nice gap to the guys behind. This is where the action's at really. So we have Moz in first place, White Shark Jim in second, just to confirm. CJW defending it hard against Robus the Hood, but nice and fair at the same time. Everyone in the Fusion showing their experience this season. I believe, watching these replays back, there's been some, don't get me wrong, there's always a few incidents here and there, but there's some really good driving going on as well. Plenty of really good racecraft and good awareness from the guys as well to maybe drop out of a move and not always go the aggressive route every single time. I'm now right on the back of Robert Hood. He's dropped off CJW a little bit. He's looking for the inside line into T1 though. CJW did the same on the last one. He didn't worry about taking the defensive line into turn 1. And he's done the same again. He's run his own wide line. But this time round, he's actually been caught up a little bit more. So now he's got the pressure of both Robert Hood and myself. I just tried to go around the outside there. Caught a little bit of grass, so I took myself off wide and dropped back into 6th position. So Robus the Hood and White Shark Phil free to race again. So I feel like I'm just commentating on my own race here, but I was involved in quite a few little incidents and stuff like that, so I was in the bulk of the action, you could say. It was good stuff, I enjoyed this one. So I said we'd drop in with the leaders. We've got Moz in first place. He's got a nice healthy gap over the TT of White Shark Jim in second. Jim had a really good stint, not getting held up by any cars in front really, and just managing to stick with Moz, chase that first place down. CJW now back up into 3rd. In fact, I don't think he's lost 3rd position since he gained it, but he's had a little bit of pressure to deal with from Robert Hood behind. Robert's still in 4th. Got White Shark Phil right behind him. And there's Scirocco challenging down through the first corner. Looked like he was going to get a good exit then. Whoa. Thought there was going to be a bit of a door bang then, but they managed to get away with it, those two. Good racing again, like I just mentioned. Good awareness. JRC has now managed to get ahead of Street Boy and Rick, so he's done a good job somewhere along the way to get himself up into 7th position, but it's not quite safe by the look of it. So Rick's challenging hard, and Street Boy as well is not giving up in the McLaren. Can't imagine the McLaren's brilliant round here, but Street Boy's still doing a good job of driving that car. Not a car that I really enjoy driving. So there's a little battle going on throughout the race for everyone here really. There's either a car in front to catch or one to defend against. Oh, Phil's making a move for the inside line into T1 now, going down the main straight, coming over the line to start a lap 8. It ends up Roberts goes defensive, so Phil's got a bit of an outside line to take now. Can he carry the speed? Ooh, goes incredibly close to the barriers. Roberts defending the inside again. Oh, Phil just doing pretty much what I did then. Comes across and taps me. He didn't realise I was actually around the outside there, so Phil felt a little bit guilty there because he tapped me onto the grass. I believe that's what he felt anyway. Just wasn't aware that I was there because he got his line wrong a little bit, went for a correction, and then I was there and I just tapped me on the grass, so he didn't realise. So fair enough to him. Thank you very much. He did let me go. He felt it was his fault putting me on the grass, so he let me go into 5th position. Thank you for that, Phil, which allowed me to try and chase Roberts Hood down and the guys in front. So meanwhile in 1st we've still got Moz, and if we go on board with him and look back, we've still got a nice healthy gap to White Shark Jim behind as well. So Moz doing a great job in the Nissan GTR on this track, because did not seem like the car to use really, but he still managed to get away with it and get the pace out of it. I say that we've got CJW in 3rd in the GTR as well, but I don't think it was an easy car to drive around here. I don't think the car was particularly slow around here, but possibly not the easiest to get through the corners. It's a big old lump is the GTR, and when you've got quite fast weight transfer going on between corners, it's not particularly the best car choice. But just about manages this track. It's a pretty simple track to be fair, there's not a lot to it. White Shark Phil just sending it down the inside there. In fact, I'm going to go back and watch that because they were a really good overtake that. I wasn't expecting it either. Oh, wrong way. I've only been doing this 10 minutes. My first video, honestly. So let's have a look at Phil. We'll go on board with him. This is it. It's late on the brakes. I held the wide line open for too long. Didn't realise that Jim had got the braking done quite so well, and didn't realise they were quite going to be there. Caught me out as well into there, so I ended up tapping the back of him. But Phil with a really good move there to just dive down the inside, quite frankly, and get the job done. Nice move to get himself back up into 5th. Gets a good run out of there, even though he gets a little bit of a graze on the wall. Roberts Hood looks like he did the same as well, and it slowed him down, lost loads of momentum there for Roberts, and it allows Phil to just pull up right behind him all of a sudden. Once he pulls out of that slipstream though, that's it. He's just stuck there side by side with him, does not carry on out accelerating him. So 3 wide as we come through the 1st corner, good stuff. Roberts Hood taking 4th position, that was good from Roberts there. Defended it well. He probably had the sheer panic of possibly losing 2 positions all of a sudden, but did a great job of making sure it didn't happen. Let's go a little bit further back. JRC's getting onto the back of this battle now, so he's right behind White Shark Phil. And again, 3 wide on the exit of there with Roberts Hood, myself and White Shark Phil. Good racing between those guys at this point, and good clean stuff as well. So Roberts still leading our little battle in 4th, me in 5th, Phil in 6th, JRC and now right behind, looking to get past Phil in 7th. It's all going on. I've now just about managed to outdrag Roberts using his slipstream down the straight. The Audi TT has great straight line speed, but it did seem on this track actually that the GTR was perfectly capable of matching it straight line wise. It must be the way you come out of that last corner. So the TT normally has quite the advantage in the straight line, but it seemed to just work its way out on this one. Like I say, maybe it was the way you come through that last corner or something, but it was closer than it has been on other tracks between the 2 cars. So eventually I managed to make my way up into 4th, get past Roberts Hood in 5th, and White Shark Phil still battling in 6th, JRC in 7th, Street Boy in 8th, we've got Rick in 9th still, and Ginger Crackhead in 10th. So Ginger Crackhead unfortunately having a bit of a race on his own, but everyone else still involved in a bit of a battle really. So Rick and Street Boy are still battling away. JRC is now on the back of this pack in front, so it's all good for everyone in this one. CJW is probably having the most boring race along with Ginger Crackhead. But White Shark Jim will still be loving it, chasing Moz down in second place. You don't mind a boring race, I suppose, if you're in the podium positions. It eases the pain a little bit, let's say. So we see the first of our pitters with White Shark Phil diving in the Scirocco. Let's see where he comes out. Getting fresh tyres. Has he just had a big off or something? He's really dropped back there. He's in 9th position as he comes out. See where Ginger Crackhead is, not far behind, so Ginger Crackhead might have a little bit of fun all of a sudden in this race now. Good lad is Rick, Ginger Crackhead. Not actually Ginger and not actually a crackhead. Just a good old lad. Oh, we still have the battle going on between me and Robus. Robus not giving it up. Now I've got through into 4th, he wants it back. And he's challenging hard for it. Tries to find the line through the penultimate corner, but not wise to go side by side through there because someone's going to lose out and hit the wall, no doubt. But it didn't end up happening anyway, so no harm done. So look at this, full train diving into the pits. 15 minutes gone pretty much. And everyone's in the pits to get that fresh rubber on and go for the second 15-minute stint. CJW is going to be the first to leave. So CJW comes out in 3rd. Everyone pitting at the same time means that you pretty much come out in the positions you've just gone in. White Shark Phil's the only one that's actually changed position because he's undercut everyone, so he went in the pits a lap earlier than everyone else, and it's managed to work out for him, so he's got himself up into 4th. And as we saw before the pit stop, he was battling away in 6th position, so it's worked out really well for White Shark Phil as that undercut. It's a really good race is this one. There's not a great deal of overtaking going on, but just the closeness between the cars and the consistency of laps and speed is really good to see. The second one, there's a bit more drama in the second one. The opening lap or two of the second one is full of action, so I'm looking forward to watching that again. But White Shark Jim in the pits now, not to be confused with Phil that pitted a lap earlier than everyone else. So White Shark Jim has pitted a lap later than everyone else, other than Moz. So Moz still yet to pit, as we can see his tyre wear at the bottom left. White Shark Jim still secure in 2nd place, no change at the front there. CJW has a little bit more pressure to worry about behind him. Not right on his bumper at the moment, but we have Phil and ADG catching up slowly. Robus the Hood has now dropped off a little bit and he's got JRC to worry about behind him. Street Boy and Rick all in a 4-car train pretty close together, so it's all worked its way out after the pit stops again, and the racing continues basically. So Moz finally choosing to pit, realising that he's got enough time and a gap to everyone else. Now they've pitted behind him, so comes in for another set of super softs. White Shark Jim is just coming down the straight now. If we watch just in front of Jim, you can see there coming through the first corner already is Moz, and Jim now just going through mid corner through T1, so the gap remains between those two. So unless Moz has a big mistake throughout this race, he should be pretty safe up in 1st place, especially now he's got the fresh tyres on. Meanwhile, we still have the battle going on, so White Shark Phil getting himself up into 3rd. He's taken it off CJW, which has held it for a good 15 minutes of the race, I think. Done a really good job, but now finds himself getting caught up a little bit, and Phil's the first to get past. Look at the battle going on behind as well. CJW trying to find any little gap there on Phil, but it didn't open up. No understeer from Phil. That's ideally what you're looking for when you kind of have that opportunity. A bit of understeer from your competitor, then all of a sudden you're already there, you're waiting for the gap to develop, so as soon as it does you can stick your nose in and you've got the position. Didn't quite work out that time from CJW, but I could see what he was trying to do. So coming towards the 20-minute marker now, nearly 2/3 of the way through. Again, I feel like I'm just pretty much watching my own race here, but I had quite a good little battle with the guys that I was around, and it was worth a watch. Now Robert Hood's dropped back a little bit, he's racing away with JRC nice and closely, so he's got pressure on from behind. JRC more than capable, he's had a really good championship. Some races better than others, but that's the case for all of us. He had a bit of an issue with his pedals one week and he didn't get the best of starts, for example, stuff like that, but all in all he's had a good championship and really good racing, more or less week in week out with someone we've seen from JRC. Normally CJW and JRC are together actually, because it's really hard to say all the time. I think they've done it on purpose. JRC, CJW. I get confused and they say it the wrong way around and all sorts. So Phil's doing a great job now, he's got up into third, pulled a nice little gap. I've just got past CJW not so long ago, trying to chase in Phil's rear bumper. And CJW just trying to stick with us. So I don't know why, but it felt like a completely different race to this second part with the second set of tyres. Felt like I had a lot more pace all of a sudden. I got involved in too many battles at the beginning that took my tyres away, I think. For me personally, it seemed like a really hard stint in that first one. And the second stint I felt like I had pace again. Rick's still going strong, but unfortunately on his own in 10th. Sorry, Ginger Crackhead. Then we've got Rick in 9th. Street Boy in 8th. Oh, there's a move from Rick. Fires it down the inside of Street Boy. You can do that into the first corner. It's one of those corners where there's a lot of different lines available to take. You can take quite a narrow entry, you can get away with it as long as you get the braking right. You can take a wide entry and carry the speed to the apex. It's really open to take however you like that corner. It's good. It makes for some good overtaking, as we've just seen there from Rick on Street Boy. He's got the job done, got up into 8th position. So JRC's now got past Robert the Hood as well. I'm missing the overtakes, but JRC doing a great job, put that pressure on for a number of laps and it's paid off for him in the end. Not sure if it was just a good overtake or a little mistake from Robert the Hood, but either way he gets himself up into 6th position. Where's my drink? So already I'm just going to pick on CJW just for example. If you look at anyone's tyre wear, it's the same. Phil's is exactly the same. But on this track there's only 2 right-handers, so going through left-handers constantly just completely wears your front right tyre. And as I flick through the cars, if you look at the front right tyre compared to the left, because there's only 2 right-handers, the front left tyre just gets absolutely no wear compared. So I noticed that during practice and I was making the most of the right-handers. I was really chucking it in because I knew that the tyre was a lot more capable on the front left. So a little strategy to employ if you do notice that there's only a few corners that are actually one way and all the rest of them are the other. Jumping on board with our leader, we've not really seen any position changes up top since the beginning of the race. Moz has just led away from the start. White Shark Jim got overtaken by CJW. CJW briefly held second place in the first stint, but Moz hasn't been challenged the whole race, so he's just had a race on his own up in first place. I'm sure he don't mind that though. And if you look at the lap times on the right hand side, putting good consistent lap times as well, and just keeping it nice and steady, that's how you win races at the end of the day. Especially if you get pole position, you get a good start, just keep it nice and calm, keep the laps coming in, and away you go. So Moz doing a fine example of showing us how it's done in this one, in the Nissan GTR as well. So arguably not the fastest car around here, but still doing a great job in it. Like I've already said, it's not a bad car around here, but arguably not the fastest. So I've got myself up into third now. I've managed to miss every overtake. Got up past White Shark Phil. CJW is still doing a good job of holding fifth, no real pressure from behind to worry about. JRC in sixth, now pulled a nice gap to Robert Hood. Rick in eighth following Robert Hood, with Street Boy right behind him. Oh, Street Boy could have had a bit of a go there, by looking at it, it was close enough. Decided not to bother that time round. Really good racing between Rick and Street Boy. Looks like they had some good fun. Just before we get to the end, just on a personal note, I've really enjoyed this championship, and really enjoyed racing with all the guys, if you end up watching this, that are involved, the actual drivers that are involved in it. So thank you very much. It makes for a really good championship when you've got a good bunch of lads together, and I feel that's what we had this season. It doesn't always happen through my experience as well in league racing, and that's why it can end up going one way or the other sometimes, and you can end up enjoying it or not. But really enjoyed this championship, even though I could have asked for some better results along the way, but I did alright in the end. And yeah, I really enjoyed racing with you guys, so again, thank you. Credit to you all. Great racing. So Rick is slowly catching Roberts as well. He's getting closer and closer to his rear bumper. And Roberts looks like he's closing back in on JRC as well. Look at this from Rick now though, coming through there. But right onto the back of him. Robert Hood having to defend, goes down the inside, holds inside line nicely as well. That's fair on Rick. He had to go all the way around the outside if he wanted to get it done, but Rick has the inside for the next one and just manages to get it stuck down the inside nice and early, gets the job done and manages to get a good exit as well, so he's not battling on the exit, and he's through up into 7th position. So good exchange there between Robert and Rick, and Rick wins out in the end. So it's now Rick's job to chase JRC, see if we can catch him. It all looks like it's closing up a little bit, but this camera angle can be deceiving sometimes. See what's going on with Moz. Moz still knocking in the 111s absolutely every single lap. Nice and consistent, no worries there for his lead. Oh, we just catch it as JRC goes a little bit wide through there. Will that make any difference to Rick? No, Rick just too far back to get the job done into there. JRC's got pressure now. We're coming towards the end of the race, and there's only a couple more laps to go, but you don't want to be in this position really. So battling away for your 6th place towards the end. Oh, Roberts the Hood on the Rick now. Looking like it's getting lively. We'll go on board for a change. Haven't really been on board today so far. So watching Roberts in the mirror, not getting the line to make a move. Rick with a good exit gets right onto the back of JRC. Has a chance now if he can line it up right into this hairpin down here, because there's quite the braking zone into this. You brake pretty much where the shadow is under the bridge. Oh, JRC just covering it off. Did leave it a little bit late to cover it off, but he managed to get it done and covered Rick off nicely. Looked like CJW had a little bit of a lag in front there. Looked like he was going wide, but it turned out to be a lag. Again, CJW lagging through the last corner. So we've got Roberts Hood side by side with him now. And Roberts dives back through the last corner, gets the slipstream on JRC, so it's all heating up at the back here. It's the action to watch towards the end, really. There's not a lot else going on anywhere else in the race. So Roberts the Hood getting through into 7th there on Rick. And now he's got the chance on JRC as he goes down the inside. JRC goes a little bit wide through there, so Rick comes through as well. Street Boy right onto the back of this battle as well. Rick down the inside for the next one, so he should be able to hold that line so long as he carries the speed. Yep, and Rick gets through on JRC as well, so JRC losing out all of a sudden in the last lap of this race. We're down to the last couple of seconds, so this will be the last lap. So it's all really heating up. JRC going for a dive down the inside on Rick. Does he get it done? We're looking from Roberts the Hood's perspective. Oh, it all works its way out through there just about. So we'll go up to the front. Moz has actually finished already. White Shark Jim in 2nd. Data G is going to bring it home in 3rd. White Shark Phil will be home in 4th. CJW in 5th. And then we still have this battle going on. Looks like Roberts has got it done in 6th. Rick's going to bring it home in 7th. JRC in 8th. Street Boy in the end is in 9th. And Ginger Crackhead has finished in 10th. Oh, that all finished very quickly because they're all still incredibly close together. So once again, thank you very much for watching. I always like to show my appreciation. I really do appreciate it. So cheers for joining me, and especially if you join me for the full season, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it, and you stick with me for future seasons, because there will be more at some point. So from me for now though, that's pretty much it. Really